Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video here back on Minecraft, and it is episode 4 and the last video on Let's Build a Village. That is correct, it will be the last video on this section of Let's Build, because of course there's going to be more Let's Builds, but this is going to be the last one on the village. As we're not too far off actually, and I've done a little bit of things outside camera, such as I made the water look a bit nicer. Because before, that was like, it's just a bit plain. So I've now added some seagrass, and I think it looks a bit better. And I've also added a house over here. So we can now, as a Q interior as well. And also has an upstairs, which is just a bed. And have a nice view out the window. So what we need to do today is we need to do this building, this building, this building, this building, and this building. So we gotta do 6 buildings today, 6 houses, and I did one outside camera because, you know, I need to save a bit of time. And I'm pretty pleased with how this one turned out, and we're going to need to finish the rest of them today. So we're now going to work on the next house, and we're going to make this one 3 high. This one was 4 high. This one will be 3, just for a bit of variation. And I think it'll look good here too, because it's like around the windmill. I think a window right here would be perfect if I remove that grass there. And yeah, I think this will work quite nicely. Okay, so I think I've got the basic shape of the roof. And what I'm going to do now is add the deep slate tiles to the roof. So I think that's probably the best we can do on that side with the deep slate. It's a bit weird, the placement of it. It's just how the house really is at this point. That is that house done. Okay, so now we're going to work on this house. So let's get building this one. Issue. So this house here is clashing with this one, which means I'm going to need to move it by 1, and that's the entire house. So we're best to get moving it, and it means we have to destroy what we just did. Okay, so I think I've built it again. It might not be 100% the same, but you know what? Probably the best we're gonna get. So that's what we've got that now. And you see it now perfectly works. And you definitely not just forgotten to do that part, but yep, this definitely looks quite good now. And now what we need to do is do a similar thing to this building here, as you can see. And it's definitely a lot of work doing this, but you know what, I think we can get it done now. It shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully anyway. As it now all works, I couldn't not do that, because it's a big issue which we just have to resolve. But luckily we have done that problem, and now what we can do is actually make this quite a nice house here as well. There we go, that's 3 houses about done. What we do need to do is add some of these in. Forgotten that we need a bit of greenery around. Let's just look a little bit plain. And that's that house now done. So I'm pretty pleased with that house actually. I think it turned out just how I wanted it to do. And yeah, just some odd old leaves around the place. Just make it not look too plain. And yeah, that definitely does a good job. And this house here is pretty plain and boring, that one, but that should be quite easy to do. And you can see we've got quite a lot of styles going along here. And you kind of need to just not take too long on them, or else it'll just take a bit too long, the entire video. So, you know, we're almost there really, but we're not that far off. And we're now going to make a building which is 4 high again. So I think this would work. So I think this house is done. The third house this video is about there. I don't think it looks too bad, to be honest. There's only a bit of leavage at the back. Just so it doesn't look too bad at the back, you know. So there you go. That's another house complete. Pretty pleased with that, you know. I think I does a good job as well with that. And I've decided that I'm going to leave the interiors. And because this whole series is mainly based on them getting like the actual village itself. But obviously some things interiors are more important, but for a village it doesn't matter too much. So I think I'm just going to leave it for now, as I just like to just walk around the village anyway. So what now I'm just going to do is get these 3 done. As we just need to get all of those done. They're very, very similar house designs, of course. They're very, very similar. And the idea with this house is to kind of block the back of this one. Because this one, the back, does not look very good at all. So the basic shape of this house is about there now. So almost there with the construction of it. We're just going to add the deep slate tiles to it. Just so it just looks a bit more interesting. There we go. And this is probably the easiest house we've got on the entire thing. Which is a nice change, you know. After doing a load of complex roofs, this one is one which I can actually take a little breather and do this one like super quickly, because these houses are super easy to do. There we go, and this build is a pretty simple one, which probably anyone could probably do. So you can literally just go like that. And obviously it doesn't look as good as other ones, but you know what? I think it does do a good job still though. I think that works. So that house done. And yep, did not take long at all. And I think we could possibly add some trees along the back here. So I think we could definitely add a couple trees in. We could at least add some grass for now. And I think it does look quite good actually. I like that quite a lot. Just make sure we just add a bunch of grass, just so it looks a bit better around the area. What we're going to do is work on the final house of the entire village. And now we're about actually done. That is correct. And then all we have to do is just add some details, which we're going to need to do. So let's build the final house. Okay, so that is the final house. I think it's about there now. And yeah, that is actually about it for the village now. Which is crazy to think, really. And yeah, it's a bit mental. The roof is a bit of a mess, to be completely honest. So basically just don't look at the back in any way, shape or form. It looks like an absolute monstrosity. So you basically just don't want to see that. It's just a nightmare, really. So I think we could definitely probably have a tree at the back here. The back here looks a little bit plain, so I think covering it up with some trees would do a good job. So then you never see it. I guess that works out quite well, I guess. That does a good job. This part we can just bone meal. Make sure it looks all nice and pretty. And I think we're about there with the build. I don't see what else we could really add. And yeah, I think that's about it. That village is done. Now, it's time to give you a full tour of the entire village. So, let's begin. And we begin with what we started with, our little riverfront here. And it faces the river, and maybe eventually there could be something over here. Of course, but this world can always expand with another Let's Builds. And as you can see, you can sit down and watch the view. And we have people can even live here. And people can even live here, as you can see by these nice houses here and here. And I think they do a great job. And the custom tree, which I'm really pleased with, which comes over the area, which I think looks quite cool. And then the path comes out. Then we go up here, and people can live up here to these houses. And they've got a decent view as well over here. And of course, we've got up to this center part where we have the fountain. And you see this fountain over here. So to the left of the fountain, we have a villager market. So we've got a bunch of stores which sell loads of things. Carrots, meat, potato, apple, fish and bread. So that's over here, which looks quite cool. And if you go forward, if you go around the fountain forward, you'll see a church here, which is quite nice. I think it's quite a cool church building here. And after you come from the church, you carry on the path, and we have the housing district. We have loads of houses here. As you can see, we've got a load of them. And you see they all go around here. And they all got their own unique style. And there is a mini path which leads to this house here, which has quite a nice view. And there's a house here, which leads over to the farm area. And there's another house which follows over the front again. And as you can see, if you went to the right of the fountain, you would have seen that we have a windmill which looks over the seafront with these farms. And that is about it. That is the whole village tour done, and everything is complete. So I hope you enjoyed this series on Let's Build the Village. And don't worry, there's going to be more Let's Builds, but the village one is now finished. So we'll see what next Let's Build we can do. Now see you next video. Bye!